Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm JJ Flazanes, your producer and empowerment strategist. Thank you for downloading today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about changing your energy and changing your life. It's a book written by Carissa Sims, The 10 Ways to Change Your Energy Now. But before we get into today's episode, I just want to remind you that we have a little bit of time left. If you were on the fence about coming to the Manifestation Bootcamp, it's most likely the last one we're going to do. I'd love to be able to help you out and make some kind of customized payment program for you. Please don't let money be the reason why you don't come. So if you're able to reach out, you can get in touch with Ashley at invisiblefitness.com and we can work something out for you. So please go to jjflazanes.com/bootcamp to learn more about the Manifestation Bootcamp happening October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Redondo Beach, California, 2021. Most likely the last time that we'll be doing it. So I'd love to see you there. If you haven't met the community yet, it's going to be life-changing, that I promise. Carissa Sims is the host of the international podcast, You Inspired. #1 best-selling author of Change Your Energy, Change Your Life. Best-selling children's book author, entrepreneur, mom, teacher, corporate consultant, and spiritual healer. She has studied meditation, spiritual healing, and has learned to master her own healing abilities. For over 10 years, she has worked as a spiritual healer and has changed people's lives by getting to the root of their pain and releasing it. Whatever it is, relationships, pain, success, she can help. While working with the top Fortune 100 companies for the past 20 years, she discovered that the root pain in the body is not always physical. There may be spiritual and or psychological issues present that are blocking the person's ability to heal. In the past, she has been a professor at the University of Southern California. Ms. Sims has worked with Amazon, Google, Fox, NBC, Universal, and many more thousands of companies, nonprofits, and schools. Enjoy today's show. Welcome to the show, Carissa.
Thank you, JJ. I'm excited to talk with you and be on your podcast.
Well, I'm excited to learn about the journey you've been on. We've known each other since 2005. We met back in 2005, and you were doing ergonomics at the time.
Yeah.
And I was reading in your book how it took you 10 years to write and finish your book because you knew you were growing and changing and evolving. And I think that even just having that awareness that you were growing, changing, and evolving, and the patience, I think you're a Taurus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The patience. I don't have any of that patience. I have to write a book in like 2 months to like allow it to unfold and to watch the story and to sort of take what you were doing into what you're doing now. Let's talk a little bit about that. Share with the listeners and my community your story.
Yeah. So before we get started, I just want to say I had the pleasure of interviewing JJ on my podcast, You Inspired. So if anyone wants to go back and listen to the episode, it's on season 1, episode 25, Releasing What Weighs You Down. So I had to just give a little plug for your story because it was great to interview you. I was on the big island of Hawaii on vacation. And anyway, it was so great to reconnect that way. And that's how I ended up on your podcast today. So as far as the story, it was so funny because I wanted to market myself for so long. I was in this class with Jill Lublin and I was trying to figure out my story. And I kept asking Spirit or God, what is my story? What is my struggle? Because I didn't realize that I had a struggle because I just repressed so many emotions like anger, like guilt, like shame. And I didn't even realize I had these emotions inside me. And I think that was part of the resistance of writing the book because, oh my God, I'm getting emotional now. It's actually bringing up tears because I've been working so hard on clearing my own emotions because I know they have contributed to the cancer that I have now, or I was diagnosed with in February 2020. And I had so much resistance because I didn't want to open myself to that trauma, to that past, to that hurt, and really going in deep and uncovering the layers of who I really am. And so things would come out like with my partner, with my kids, just like anxiety and stress and pain. And I didn't think that it could lead to a disease. I just wanted to have this image of having a happy life, having a successful business, working with corporations, having it all, having the perfect relationship and everything. And it was just all fake because it wasn't really me. It wasn't really the authentic truth that I needed to share. And so that was part of writing the book. And in addition to that, I was having issues with my mom and our relationship. And I didn't realize it was because she was unable to show me love the way I needed it. And I've forgiven her now. But anyway, I talk about my relationship with my mom and my kids in the book a lot. And I feel that it was really healing. And I never expected her to read the book, but she read the book and she was angry with me.
So, okay, continue on. I want to know what you were repressing. Was it, I mean, you woke up and said,
Um,
I,
so
yeah.
so it was, well, basically in healing myself, it was ancestral guilt and shame and trauma from my mom's mom abusing her, and then my mom shutting down and withdrawing love, and then also me being abused as a child, sexually abused. And I was 5 and I went to my dad and told him, and he didn't react one way. Oh, he was like, "Oh, well, that's nice." He really dismissed it. And so I never told my mom. And I think maybe started there of just like repressing down, oh, well, maybe this is okay. Maybe this sexual behavior is okay. And I would act out in different ways. So the anger, I think, is really ancestral, or maybe holding down this trauma. I'm still trying to figure out and pinpoint what it is, but in just working through the layers of healing myself, that is what's coming up for me, that these trapped emotions, it's actually my destiny to heal them now so that it doesn't carry on to future generations for my kids and on from there. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And we've done clearing inherited emotional DNA both at my events here on the show. We
Oh,
talk about,
amazing.
yeah, we talk about all of that. And, but I want to know where did you on the path know you needed to change the energy because you wrote the book and the book had an end, right? So you took the time to write it, but what was like the journey within the book, like that you got to the end? Because we're still on a journey, as we all are, and you're
Right.
still like uncovering some of that. So what, you learned how to take back your energy, like change your energy, change your life, and which
Hmm.
is where you came up with the 10 tips to change your energy now because you
Right.
learned them the way that you learned them. So what was that catalyst that got you to say, I need to change my energy? I need to focus on these 10 points. I need to do it now.
Yeah. Okay. So let me talk about that a little bit because it was really my kids. Anger was coming out at my kids and my relationship, and not in a violent way, but like kind of like an annoying way when they would do things that, when they weren't behaving, or that are totally appropriate for kids. And I was like, "Oh, I really need to shift this because I am creating a wedge between my son," and it was started with my son actually. And and when I started writing, I actually realized that I needed to heal even more because I at first it was just showing up as anger, and I realized I needed to heal that. But then as I started writing and just flowing with everything that was going on in my life, I realized, oh, there's a lot going on with me and I really need to write all this down. And then somebody contacted me on Facebook, actually a coach, and said, "Oh, I'm a publisher. I can help you publish your book." And then it motivated me to finish writing the whole thing, which was in 2017.
Okay. So you got this great opportunity to have the publisher
Yeah.
and to take the book, and your son was the catalyst. And did it
Mhm.
mirror a relationship that you had? Was it the relationship with your mom or the relationship with your dad?
Well, the relationship, I don't know if it really mirrored it, because I had more of a connection and I spent more time with my son than my mom spent with me. So it was a little bit different. There were some times when I could tell my mom was angry and annoyed with me, but most of the time she held it in. Like, for example, she'd be in the kitchen and I would come in and try to get something, and she would like be like, "What are you doing here?" That was her lair, that was her space, and she didn't like anyone being in her space. So she would be annoyed with me a lot for doing things. So I think maybe there was a mirror. You're right. See, I'm uncovering other things that I didn't think about to my son and I's relationships, but it was just magnified because we were spending more time together.
So that was the first indicator that you needed to heal some of these. Was it the awareness with your son that you, like you said at the beginning, like it was a lie, like the whole, like you were repressing things?
Yeah. I think because I was scared of how I would react to him. Like, how could I unleash my anger on a child? Like, would I end up in prison? Would I hurt him? See, now I'm getting emotional again. But when I fully got in touch with that anger and was able to channel it in a healthy way, it helped me remove it so that I could move on and feel the love and the compassion and the empathy for him that was underneath it. So it was like this triple layer. So I had this love and feeling and wanting to be perfect, the perfect mom. And then I had to release the anger that was underneath it to get to a deeper love, like a true, unconditional, connected love that I feel like I feel now.
Well, I think that's amazing to acknowledge that, because I know some, and no, this is not, I'm not singling out anybody who listens to the show, FYI, but I know some Taurus moms who were abusive to their children
Interesting.
because their need for control, or the idea that, like you mentioned the word misbehaving, which I think is an interesting word, because kids are going to be kids. It's just that you don't
It's
have
just kids
it's
being kids, right?
right.
Yeah.
It's not convenient for you, but that doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. It just means it's not convenient for you. And I've seen parents who don't change and they expect their children to do what pleases the parent, of course, at the expense of what pleases the child. And it's, it's the conversation around conscious parenting, where some parents believe that your children should do what you say. And I believe that your children are here to teach you and grow you. And if you don't grow into the parent they need, you're not only doing them a disservice, but you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's an illusion of you need to grow.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's the same for relationships. I think that's the same for our business grows us. Like if we have a deep desire. So I want to move to that, the business growing you, because obviously your relationships and your children were growing you, but your
Yes.
business was growing you too, because you started out with ergonomics and then we pivoted to now changing your energy, changing your life. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned that you also teach law of attraction. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I don't really teach law of attraction, but I got into healing. So I went to this meditation retreat, Vipassana meditation retreat, and I just started meditating and working with other healers and, hiring them to help me. And I worked with this one healer, Master Shah, and he pointed me out at this conference, with 1,000 people. You are a soul healer. And then all of a sudden I'm healing all these people, having no idea how to heal people. And it just flowed through me. And so that's how I started healing people. Shifting my own energy opened me up to that. And then also another catalyst was when I was doing ergonomics and helping people and they were in pain. I literally asked Spirit, I need to help people. I need to heal them on a deeper level. And that's when this all happened as well. And so then I just started healing people for free, just friends here and there. And then I started this group, Inspired Women, and I started doing healings there on the women that came to me. And then I started charging. And then I started my podcast, You Inspired, and started doing meditations and healings after doing an interview with people. So, and my healing has really evolved, and it's been fascinating because when I was on this healing path, I went to this one, it might have been the Conscious Life Expo, actually. And I went into this room and I sat down with this woman, and she said, "Oh, your grandparents are with you." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." I had no awareness of spirits or ghosts at that time. And she said, "Oh, you're a portal. Spirits will come to you to be released, to be ascended to heaven." And I thought about that and I thought, okay, I don't really know what that means. But a few years later, another healer told me that I could do that. And my niece she committed suicide at 19, and she was with me, her spirit. And the healer said, "Oh, she's with you and needs to go to heaven." And he helped ascend her to heaven. And he said, "You have this ability as well." And so I started helping people with that too. And that is part of the healing that I do with people now, is ascending spirits that are attached to them and helping them thrive in their life. So isn't that interesting?
Wow, you got a lot of stuff going on. And in terms of the healing, so in terms of healing modalities, I want to back up a second
Yeah.
in case people don't understand what ergonomics is. Can you just explain the science of ergonomics first?
Oh, yeah. Ergonomics. So I still do ergonomics. I still have a business and I'm working with corporations. What it is, ergo is work, nomics is a study of work. It's basically setting people up at their workstation, at their computer, to be more comfortable, have better posture. So I'm an occupational therapist. I went to school for that. And I loved working, and I still love working with corporations. So I do that part-time, and I do my healing and podcast business. So I have those three businesses going, and it's a wonderful balance for me. And it's funny how it's actually getting integrated now, because people can feel my healing energy now when I'm on the phone. And I actually had this person, I did a virtual, a lot of things are virtual now. I did a virtual ergonomics evaluation over the phone. And I do it sometimes over Zoom, or they send me pictures, and I analyze their posture, how they're working, their equipment, and then make recommendations and write a report. And this person just broke down with me, and he was having some pains, and I helped him through that, through some breathing exercises. And I've only done that one other time where I've integrated healing into ergonomics, but I was really happy that I was there for him. And he said that at the end. He said, "Thank you for being there for me." And that was really special to be able to do both today in that call this morning.
What's the modality of energy that you're using for healing? So taking ergonomics first and understanding the science of that, and then it's a natural progression to me into moving beyond, again, just structure and into
Mhm.
forces and energy. What would you say the energy for, like, what is the healing modality that you're using?
Well, I really facilitate people's own healing abilities. So I call it spiritual healing. When I started healing, when I told you through the seminar, Master Shaw, he does soul healing, which is very similar. But I'm sure you've gone into this in other episodes, of difference between the soul and spirit. And I sometimes do all three, where I connect with whatever that person believes in. A lot of times people believe in God and Jesus, and I will connect with that energy and that person's energy and activate their own healing abilities. And it seems a little bit like Reiki. I'm not Reiki certified, but I do move my hands. And when I feel a block, I can sense it. So I guess you would call it claircognizant. I don't necessarily see things, but I have a knowing. I have a knowing of where it is and how to remove it. So then I will feel wherever this is and I will release it with a little noise like that. And then I will also sing. So I have this humming song that I sing that I learned from Master Sha, which also seems to activate their healing abilities. So it's a little bit of a double process. I was doing this event on releasing pain, and that's what I did. I was singing the song and then releasing the pain with this little swoosh sound and doing it. It was all virtual, and I would see them in front of me and then do that work on them.
Awesome. So now putting this all together, you've kind of boiled down, if you will, some of the things that have worked for you and things you've done with others, right? To the 10 tips to change your energy. And again, that the base of even putting this out into the world is about the transformation for you and the healing, if you will, right? Of the evolution of where you've been and where you're going and what's real, what's an integrity, what you were denying, what we're repressing, which we all are repressing stuff all the time. And, we're moving into more and more consciousness and awareness, and then sort of whatever that next level is. So before we go into a couple of the tips to change your energy now, when did you develop these tips and this toolbox?
I did this back in like 2016, a little bit before the book, because I used it as an outline. I was writing down, okay, what can really help people, because I really want to empower people to shift their energy on their own and not necessarily go to a person unless they need to.
Okay, I like that. People love the DIY. So, let's try to teach everybody as much as possible. I even have a strengthening intuition course to try to get people to connect deeper, to again use the gifts that we all have, because we all have moments of claircognizance or clairvoyance or
Yes.
clairaudience or clairsentience, or in different ways we're connected differently, and most of us don't try to enhance or develop that because we don't know that we can. And I saw that happen over a couple of years in doing all this work, that I strengthened all those, and I thought, well, this is just like exercise, training my brain
Good
to
point.
to create new neural pathways, to be aware of things I wasn't in alignment with before, and to trust the impulses and to trust the hits and to trust the ways that my body or my mind would show me things that maybe before I might second guess. So absolutely, that is something that we all can learn. And I do appreciate, again, giving people the information and the tools to use themselves. And that's me. That's how I'm a student. I take it until I can't figure it out. I try everything I can. I learn everything I can. And then I go, okay, I apparently need more help than I can give myself, or I need that next level. So, so what is the first tip to change your energy now?
Yeah. And I don't know why this came up for me. And I just wanted to mention, you were talking about law of attraction earlier. And I just realized what it is for me. It's about just shifting your frequency to vibrate at the same level as what you want to manifest. So I guess that's how I think of what I'm doing, is helping people change their frequency, change their vibration, clear out those emotions, clear out that pain, uncover what needs to be healed, bring it to the surface. See pain as a messenger, see pain as a gift. See all these things happening in your life for your good, for your spiritual unfoldment, for your upliftment. This is really to make you and help you ascend so that we can all be here on a greater earth together. So I just wanted to mention that quickly. And so one of the tips is very simply is breathing, taking a deep diaphragmatic breath. Breathing in through the nose is purifying that air. And then when you breathe in, holding that breath for a few seconds. And when you release, tap your thymus. So that is an area in the middle of your chest bone. You can look it up online and say an affirmation. I am powerful. I am loving. Unity. Say something that inspires you. And that is really helpful. So that's one of the tips I give people is deep breathing while you do an affirmation and tapping on the thymus.
Great. Yeah, you're using a couple different things there. And the thymus, can you just walk us through? I know you said you could, just so people aren't going to necessarily leave the call wondering, could you just could you walk us through on our body where that is?
Yeah. So it's like this part where the ribs connect and the chest bone. And it's a powerful gland actually that can improve your immune system as well. So something gets activated within you at that point. And sometimes it's a little bit higher. So you can feel maybe the collarbone and go in the middle about a half an inch or a quarter of an inch down and through the center, almost perfectly in alignment with your Adam's apple there, and then go down there if you can feel that. And if that's too complicated, just do your heart. Your heart has a brain, right? You've all heard that before. And just connecting with your heart, that could be easier as well.
Okay. All right. So that was number one. And what would be number two?
So the other one is, I wanted to say, live your dreams, not what society expects you to do, but what's really pulling you? What's really exciting you? What's something that you've always wanted to do? I mean, this really comes up. This came up for me with my diagnosis of cancer in February 2020, right before COVID. I was actually in LA, JJ. I was there consulting. And so when you feel, unfortunately, when you think, wow, life is temporary and I might actually die from this disease, I really need to prioritize things and think about what is driving me. How do I want to live my life and be fulfilled and still take care of myself and be healthy, obviously. But I'll just share, for me, one of the dreams that I had put aside is to write a screenplay. And I actually brought that to the surface during a workshop of living my dreams. And that night I met a producer that is getting the ball rolling. And so now I'm in the process of doing that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, law of attraction, right? It's law of attraction right there. Yeah. It's very exciting.
Yeah. And so, see, that's not even my field, and I've never done it before. So I was intimidated. I was scared, but it was a dream. And now I feel so much warmth in my heart because I'm honoring myself. So I feel like living your dreams is honoring yourself and what you're meant to do here on this planet. So that would be another one.
Well, that's a big one. We jump from breathing, which is simple to do. And then the next one's like, whoa, like if they can do that, that's pretty big. So we can even unpack that a little bit more, but I want to move on because I know there's 10 and I know we're not going to get to all of them. And in fact, let's just tell everybody right now, you offer this sort of free guide on your website.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can go to carissasims.com, and if you subscribe to my email list, then you can get this free report, and then I will send it to you. And it has 10 ways to increase your energy now.
So we're going to get through more of them, but in case you want the whole list, go to carissasims.com. And again, the link will be in the show notes. So make sure to check the show notes. All right. So what is number 3?
Well, for me, it's meditation. I mean, meditation has been so essential for me in my healing journey and discovering actually the healer within. And when you meditate, I mean, there's so many studies and research on this that you can lower your blood pressure. I mean, it's just incredible, all the health benefits. But in addition to that, it just helps to shift your energy to be more present. And I feel like in alignment with the universe. You're and especially if you meditate on something like you're thinking about the trees or Mother Nature or God or the divine or something spiritual, it really connects you with that and puts you in alignment with who you're supposed to meet. It's amazing. It's like something happens. You just get in sync when you meditate, and you don't have to do it for long. I was so resistant to meditation. I started off with a guided meditation, Wayne Dyer's Getting in the Gap. Have you ever heard of that, JJ? Getting in the Gap?
Yeah, I love actually the CD that came with that.
Yeah,
In fact, I
that's
still
right.
use that meditation today.
Isn't that, oh, you still use it today? Isn't that a synchronicity? Amazing. It's incredible. And I highly recommend it as well. Or listen to someone else's. JJ has meditations on her club as well. So it's so powerful. And I started off with that, and it's just a few minutes. So even if you say, oh, I don't meditate, I can't relax, just put all that aside, forget about it, and just try something. You can also, mindfulness is a way it's to easily meditate, like a walking meditation where you're connecting with something out in nature, dancing meditations, breathing meditations, guided light meditations where you're focusing on the light coming through you and as you. So there's so many different, I love meditation. If anyone wants to know different types of meditations, I write about them in my book, Change Your Energy, Change Your Life. And then I also have a couple in my free tips on my website. So thank you for that.
Yeah. In fact, let's talk about your book.
Okay.
Where can they get it?
So right now you can get it on my website. So if you go to carissasims.com, you can find the book. It was available on Amazon. It was a #1 bestseller on Amazon, but I'm changing publishers. So we took it off, and it's in the process of being converted to be back on Amazon. So right now it's on my website.
All right. So go to carissasims.com to get the book. Let's do 2 more from the 10 tips. And then you guys can go to carissasims.com to get the last 5. So what would be the next tip?
Well, you are an expert in this one, but I guess I'll bring it up anyway because I'm going through it. Detoxifying your body. Actually, I listened to one of your podcast episodes on a colonic, and I did it based on your recommendations. So now I'm on my 4th colonic, and it's been amazing. So I appreciate that.
Oh, good. Too bad you're not still here in LA. I'd tell you to go to Cindy, but I'm glad to hear that you're inspired, and it is a definitely powerful way. I'm going to have to find somebody new up in Ojai. And trust me, after this move is over, I'm going to be doing a huge detox because the lifestyle is going to change completely, but I'm also just can't wait to add in all of the things that were more difficult to get here and could have done them, but it's just going to come more natural and easy. So definitely detoxification. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ojai is incredible. What a magical place. That seems to be a vortex of instant manifestation. Can you just connect with that right now?
Well, I've been going there 21 years, and it's just always sort of been inevitable. And I manifested the dream home, and we're going to do a show on that, Doug and I, because
exciting.
The way that it happened was, I got it. I pretty much got everything that I asked for and didn't really know how I was going to get it. And anyway, all the nuances about that. But yes, Ojai is magical. And for anyone in the future coming to a mastermind event, or I'm definitely going to have smaller sort of VIP events in Ojai. I'll keep the bigger events in LA. But it's definitely a destination. It's like the Sedona of California.
Yes.
For those of you that
Incredible.
don't know about it. But let's go back to this detoxing, because it's also the capital
I'm getting
of detoxing.
distracted because
That's okay.
I'm like, oh hi. I know. So I am going through a detox right now, and I have been since January. So it's been very hard and challenging mentally, I have to say. But you don't have to do it as long as I am. I'm doing different phases. I went through a blood detox, a liver detox, kidney, and now I'm going through a parasite cleanse, and that goes along. It's in alignment with the colonics. But even just one day, let me just tell you, one day break from food is so incredible for your body. I mean, there are so many books on this, intermittent fasting. I mean, you can even just not eat a little bit longer in one day, or just do a master cleanse, juice fast. There's a detox tea you can take in the morning. And there's so many ways that you can detoxify the body doing a colonic, as JJ had mentioned before. Avoid false energy lifters such as sugar, nicotine, alcohol, etc. And eat raw foods. I'm on a raw foods 3-week right now, which has been very interesting and a challenge. And my kids are like, why don't you just eat normal? They're getting so frustrated with me, because I can't eat anywhere because hardly anything is organic. It's so crazy to be here in Colorado and going out to eat, and like nothing is organic. And you ask the restaurant and they're like, oh yeah, it's too expensive. I'm like, oh, okay. See, this is that I don't even realize all these toxins were going into my body, the pesticides and things, because I'm not paying attention. I'm just like eating out and not being aware that it not being organic, even though it's healthy, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for my body. So anyway, I'm just detoxing is really an important part of my healing journey as well.
Excellent. Well, let's just do one more. And then again, everyone go to chrisasims.com to get the book and to get your free download of the 10 tips to change your energy now. We will have done half of them here. So what would be the fifth one?
Well, this one is a challenge for me. So I guess I'll just bring this one up, is to love yourself, to love just your journey, because it has made you who you are today. And just appreciating something. If you can't conceptually find something that you love about yourself, find something small like your hair or your smile. Find something physical, or maybe that you're kind, and then really connect with that, and maybe do a meditation around that. I know Louise Hayes has an exercise about doing it in the mirror, loving yourself in the mirror. So I just would encourage everyone to open your heart to yourself and find the love within.
Yeah, excellent advice. It's, I think, the journey we're all on together here, at least in my community, because that's why they're attracted. So I definitely appreciate that, Carissa. There are 5 more tips to change your energy now. I want everyone to go get it, chrisasims.com. Also get her book and listen to her podcast. So You Inspired. You can find it anywhere you get podcasts. Yes, I've been on it if you want to go check that out, as well as some other amazing people. So check out Carissa's podcast. Carissa, thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your journey. I think you've been a great example for those who are speaking to things that people don't speak about. Talking about your kids and the anger and that sort of projection of unresolved anger that people have, and they don't talk about it. They just lash out. And to really recognize that, you're showing people an example and you're giving them a place to connect. Because I know people don't want to talk about that. There's shame around being a bad parent or not being able to, quote unquote, control yourself. But it's a real thing that people have to look at. And the faster we take responsibility for what's underneath these reactions that we have to our kids, to our job, to our family, to our spouses. When we take responsibility for what's going on inside of us, that's the only way we can heal and change anything anyway.
Good point. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Have a great day, JJ.
Thanks, Chris. Everyone check out chrississims.com.